The flip side of factoring is foiling or expounding. So factoring, we take an equation and we break it into two sets of parentheses, or we pull something out. We just make parentheses, essentially. Foiling, we get rid of them. We make it in one general, somewhat messy equation. Foiling, expounding, always follows the same pattern. Let's say I have something like this, x plus 2, x minus 1. Now, there's a different kind of method, too, called the box method. And what I've noticed a lot is students in the Midwest tend to learn this. That's what you do, fine. I'm a FOIL guy for no other reason than that's how I learned. And that's typically what I show people because that's what I'm comfortable with. So, FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. And these refer to the terms within the parentheses. We have 4 terms. Remember, terms are separated by addition or subtraction. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So first, that'll just be the first 2 terms in either parenthesis. So it'll be x times x is x squared. Outer, those are the outside terms. Pick a different color. So again, we're going to use this x and this 1. So x times negative 1 is negative x. Or you could say negative 1x if you want. Inner, those are the inside terms. So we got this 2 going on and this x. 2 times x is positive plus 2x. And finally, last, got a fistful of markers. Let's do an orange. Last is 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. 2, negative 1. So one of the reasons I use color coding on this, and I'm sorry if you're colorblind, but I think you should follow along just fine anyway, is to kind of illustrate that what I'm doing is I'm multiplying everything in this set of parentheses by everything in this set of parentheses. Everything gets multiplied by each other. So, for example, our first x meets up with this second x, right? And then when it's green, it meets up with the 1, right? Similarly, the 2, when it's blue, meets up with our second x here. And when it's orange, meets up with the negative 1. So everything gets multiplied by everything. FOIL is just a method to ensure that that happens. That's really all that is. Now, dropped one of my mini marker caps. Now let's take a look at the problem at the bottom of your screen. This is a really common either problem by itself as an equivalence problem, you know, what's going to be equal to this, what kind of statement or equation, or as a component of another problem like a rational expression or a weird factoring problem, even a radical expression. You can have it in different places, but it always works the same. So the thing to remember is you can't distribute this square, because the tempting thing to do is to say, well, this will be 4a squared plus 16b squared. I squared this and I squared that. That kind of sort of distribution thing only works if you only have one term. If I say, well, what's 2a squared? Well, that means 2 squared and a squared. That's just one term. I'm multiplying everything by itself. It's fine. But, as we see, we got these 2 terms. So when I square something, I'll multiply it by itself. So if I see a binomial squared, which is what I've got right here, binomial, 2 terms, I got to multiply it by itself. And guess what that brings us back to? 2a plus 4b times 2a plus 4b, and then I'll FOIL. Let's do it together. I assume you're doing it with me. 2a times 2a is 4a squared, right? Outer, 2a times 4b is plus 8ab. Inner is 4b times the second 2a, 8ab. And last we have 4b times 4b, 16b squared. Combine our middle terms. These are alike. same variables to the same power, so we can combine them. We'll get 16ab, and then these just come down. So 4a squared plus 16ab plus 16b squared. Notice that it didn't matter that I had two variables. Get a little comfortable with that, because a lot of times you'll actually end up factoring things that have two variables. So you may have an x and a y, and it'll factor the same. At least on the ACT, it's not going to be that tough. Remember, you only have 60 seconds a question. Now, make sure you check out the elementary factoring and the intermediate factoring videos, because they will help you a lot. There are some trickier questions on factoring on the ACT, and if you happen to be taking the SAT also, definitely check it out, because the SAT has some really nasty factoring stuff.